Hello from your favorite Grassland's PR team. Today we're back with another reason why these overlooked and underappreciated ecosystems are objectively the best biome. I'm Alan.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Nicole.
Hello, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Nicole, you refused to tell us what this episode is about. You teased us with a descriptor, and you said, guess what? This episode's not about that anymore. I'm throwing the entire thing out. Now I have a new second episode that's going to blow your dang mind.
I don't think I said all that. Originally, I was going to talk about a snake. I'm not doing that now. I'll probably talk about a snake the next time I host. But also not the one that I originally told you that I was going to talk about, a different snake.
Okay.
So,
Do you hate ringneck snakes?
oh, I love ringneck snakes, but there's a different grassland snake that I think would just be fun to talk about. So,
Oh, okay.
Okay. I trust your judgment.
also, I haven't looked into it, but I don't really think that ringnecks are like technically grasslands. Anyways, that was always a placeholder that needed more research. Anyways, today we're talking about an ecosystem. And specifically a lot about the plants in that ecosystem. I personally talk a lot about like animal highlights on this podcast. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to do something different.
Yeah.
And we've already had a couple ecosystem highlights from you guys already. So I thought that I would pile in too and do my own.
Oh, I'm thrilled. These are my favorite episodes, honestly,
Neat.
like both to research and to hear about.
Yeah.
It's very fun. And this one in particular was one that like was definitely a blind spot to me. And I think that it is also going to be a blind spot for you guys as well. It is
Perfect.
North American, primarily in present day in southern North America.
Oh my gosh. Is it the one with the carnivorous plants?
No. Sorry.
Oh.
But yeah, let's take a step back though and talk about kind of the life histories of the plants here and talk a lot about the prehistory of the plants. I did a lot of like diving through fossil records for this. Spoiler alert, it was really unhelpful and I wasted a lot of time on it.
Sweet.
But that's okay. And I ended up having to kind of read a lot of scientific papers that were really dense and it made me really mad. And so I gave up a couple times, but I persevered and here we are.
Okay.
I'm proud
but
of you.
thank you. It was a lot.
Sometimes those papers are just, it's like, I get it. I get why people hate science.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like, I hate
Yes.
science right now.
Yeah. All of the papers that, not all of them, vast majority of the papers that I was reading were like really hyper specific about like one part of the life history of these plants. And I'm like, it's not what I'm looking for. Like, where's just the general, this is how these plants work, this is how this ecosystem works papers. Like, those don't exist. And because the general papers don't exist, we also don't have like layman, like Nat Geo articles about it either. Because the scientists doing this research are just like uber nerds and they don't know how to communicate with the public.
But they don't even have, like, in the introductions a nice
No.
breakdown, because that's usually my saving grace. If I can't find the papers I want to cite, I'm like, well, at least these guys are breaking it down with the citations in the intro to their paper to make their paper make sense.
No, this is a headache, but it was really fun. And I'm glad we ended up where we are. So anyways, taking a step back, thinking about early European settlers moving across the landscape east to west. Early settlers remarked how this area, specifically the instance that I found, they were talking about Kentucky, how incredible savanna ecosystems actually carpeted this area. It wasn't for like dense forest like it is today. It was a savanna. Like, objectively, that's what they called it. That's how they described it, was a savanna ecosystem. Just how Virginia at the time was a prairie ecosystem. And today, very, very little prairie remains in Virginia.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know Virginia was prairie.
Yeah, not all of it.
Yeah.
But there were large swaths of prairie in Virginia.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in Kentucky and farther south, there were miles and miles of tall grasses with even taller trees above. They were interrupted with little cleared areas of fertile land that they ended up using for crops. You know, strangely convenient how there was just cropland there already. Who knows how that happened? And farther south, good old Teddy Roosevelt described 15 to 20 foot tall plants in Louisiana with only a couple inches of space in between them.
Plants as in like grasses or forbs? Okay.
Grasses.
20, how tall?
20-foot tall grasses.
20-foot tall grasses.
The hell?
Okay.
Good God.
So, you know, of course, the history here is that indigenous peoples, especially for this particular ecosystem, the Cherokee people, were cultivating these lands already. These vast swaths were not necessarily natural. They very much were human, at least maintained. And these unique grasslands, they knew had fertile soil, so they did clear parts of it and grow crops there. And the grass itself could be woven, eaten by livestock. The plants had so many uses, including for musical instruments, baskets, weapons, traps, even walls for homes.
Wow.
Okay.
And regular light burning very much benefited these landscapes. And between the loss of the cultivation of these people, the clearing for additional farmland, and overgrazing, this is considered an extremely endangered habitat.
Yeah.
So, vast swaths of landscapes, savanna-like in appearance, very, very tall grasses. Do either of you know what I'm talking about? Because it is not the tall grass prairie. I'll give you that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like anything I've ever heard about the tall grass prairie.
Yeah.
I am even surprised to hear, number one, that it existed while Teddy Roosevelt was around.
Yeah.
Because that surprises me.
It's not long ago.
No, and I'm surprised to hear that it still exists because I've never heard of this.
Is it American bamboo forest?
Wait, what?
I don't know. What I'm trying to imagine, like, what are 20-foot tall grass-like plants?
Are they like wetlands plants? Are they, well, not like wetland. We wouldn't be talking about it if it was a wetland. That's not true. We've talked about oceans. We sure did.
The wettest of lands, yes. I feel like, yeah, you're right. You're correct that this is a blind spot for me because, like, I'm trying to think of, like, yeah, I don't know.
The only thing that it reminds me of is grasslands in, like, what, Argentina, where they have the really freaking tall grasses.
Yeah. So I think Alan immediately wrote it off, but he was right.
What? Okay.
When he said bamboo.
What?
Okay.
So yeah, there are, believe it or not, 3 species of native bamboo to North America. They are called Rivercane. So they are their own, like, they are very, very unique in the bamboo world, and they are specifically called Rivercane. Whenever you have an ecosystem, like, swath of them, they are called a canebrake.
Oh.
So all bamboo, the part above ground is called cane. But a lot of times, like, if you see Rivercane mentioned or a canebrake, we are talking specifically about North American native bamboos.
Okay.
Wild. Okay.
Yes.
Bamboo is a grass?
Bamboo is a grass. Yes. It is considered like a woody grass, but the outside part is not wood. It is a thickened cell wall, and there are other woody grasses that exist.
Oh my God. Okay. Fascinating. I always thought it was a grass the way that, like, other monocots are like grass. I did not realize it was literally grass.
Yes, yeah. It is a poaceae. It is a grass. God. Yeah. It has all of the same features of a grass. It's just a really, really weird one.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
How extensive is that? Because, like, it's not something I'd never heard of. Is it very rare? Is it endangered? Is it what kind of?
She said it was extremely endangered.
Extremely endangered.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So all 3 species are endangered in the states that they exist in today. I believe that all of the states have protections for them. Like, they are considered, like, listed in those states, even if they aren't listed federally. Their ranges have drastically shrunk, but they do have, I was going to say some good refuges, but not really. It depends on the species. There are 3 different species. Let's go over the 3 species first. So I think that will be helpful in understanding kind of their role in the ecosystem. One of them is just kind of called a lot of times Rivercane or switchcane, even though they're all together called Rivercane.
Okay.
But this is Arundaria tecta. So I'll be calling it switchcane just to keep things clean.
Sure.
This one is fairly large in its range, or at least historically it was. It's shrank quite a lot, and the populations that exist are very remote from one another, which is an issue. It's a plant, it can't fly, and go to another population and spread diversity that way. And the areas in between those populations are not habitable anymore to it being able to spread again, unfortunately. There is also the giant rivercane, a gigantea, and it is the most widespread of the three. It's a little bit farther north than the switchcane, and weirdly enough, not only so it's big, that's why it's called the giant rivercane. It can grow to be nearly 3 inches in diameter and be over 10 meters or 30 feet tall. So it is very big.
That's so huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it actually has been found in Kansas.
What?
Like the official range maps show a single instance of it in Kansas in Leavenworth County.
Okay, yeah, that would be the most. Yeah, okay, the most
It's very
like
wet, so
bottomland kind of.
yeah.
Whoa.
And this one does like it really wet. The switchcane can be in like pretty arid conditions, and if it gets flooded regularly, it will die. Like it cannot handle that, which is somewhat unusual for a lot of bamboo species. It's really hard. I didn't know this either. It's hard to make generalizations about bamboos because apparently there's like 1,500 species of bamboo.
Wow.
Did not know that. And there are temperate bamboos and then tropical bamboos. And I think a lot of people, including me, think of bamboo as a tropical species.
For sure.
There are a lot of temperate ones
Wow.
that can tolerate arid conditions, like our North American species.
Tolerate or require. It's
Required.
Yeah,
That's
right.
crazy.
Yeah. Mhm. Or at the very least, like a mosaic of a habitat where some of it is really dry and some of it can be like a little wet. So
Man, sorry, I'm just immediately thinking about how, I don't know, if I lived in Kentucky and saw a bunch of bamboo growing somewhere, I mean, we just have no real connection to our land anymore.
No.
And you would have no indication unless you were like a mega nerd. But I consider us to be mega nerds about this type of stuff, especially with grass and grassland plants and stuff.
Yeah.
So like for us not to know what it was, like how would any person not be like, what the heck is this bamboo doing here? Better cut it down.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would just assume it was an invasive.
Yeah.
I was thinking if I saw just bamboo growing anywhere wild, I would assume it's just an ornamental that got out of control.
Yeah, especially if it's
Absolutely.
30 feet tall. God.
Yeah. The switch cane is significantly shorter. It's only going to grow 2 to maybe 13 feet tall, but it sounds like that 13 is like an outlier. You don't, especially nowadays, you don't see it getting that tall. That's 0.5 to 4 meters. And then the Appalachian hill cane is our third species. It has by far the smallest range and has historically had the smallest range. And it is actually semi-deciduous. It will drop its leaves, which is also extremely strange for bamboo.
Yeah.
Bamboo usually does not do that.
Yeah, what grass drops its leaves even, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, super, super weird. And it is by far the shortest, like I said, and it will pretty much never get above 1 meter or 3 feet tall. So just a little guy.
Wow. It's like the little blue stem of
Yeah.
bamboo, North American bamboos.
Yes. And the hill cane also grows in the mountains in Appalachia. So it is growing like in forests. It is a forest, like under canopy plant.
Okay.
Okay.
Whereas these other ones are more open habitats, or at the very least, like edge habitats.
I just am so tempted to ask you questions always and interrupt your flow because I'm wondering so much, like, was this a cultivated plant before settlers came in and disrupted all of the ecosystems that were under, cultivation? Is that what happened? Is it, because like it's so hard for me to imagine bamboo not being useful, which is blowing my mind with this because I bamboo is so utilized commercially these days.
Oh, yeah.
Like, of all the plants to end up endangered, and indigenous bamboo seems insane unless it was just idiot colonialists or like even malicious, ill-intentioned colonialists taking it down on purpose.
Yeah.
The way that the bison were exterminated on purpose.
Yeah. I don't know like for sure, but a lot of it had to do with, which is the fate of a lot of grasslands around the world, the land underneath the Rivercane was extremely fertile. So as European settlers moved across the landscape, they clear cut them and did probably use them, but then tilled the soil and turned it into farmland rather than letting that resource grow back. Because it is fast growing. It is not as fast growing as some of the other bamboo species. We're talking like there's one species of bamboo that can grow like a meter a day or something ridiculous like that.
Nice.
And these guys are growing like 4 inches a day. Like,
I mean, that's still a lot.
It's a
That's
lot.
still quite a bit.
Yeah, but nothing like other bamboos.
I wonder if anyone's ever mic'd that up. You guys know about corn squeak, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like some plants grow so fast they're audible.
Yeah.
That's just the cell division, the growth is audible.
Yeah. Oh, also, I did not know how bamboo worked before this episode. I still don't really 100% know how they work. But apparently, with these particular species, I'm not going to try to make generalizations about bamboo in particular, but with Rivercane, as they're growing, the bottom internodes, so the area between like the little pinched areas on the bamboo, the bottom internodes will eventually reach maturity and they don't grow anymore. But the upper nodes will grow, and it's not just like one internode at a time. You can have like 40 internodes all growing at the same time. And this is why bamboo grows so fast. Like, it's not just growing from like one single spot. It's like the whole plant is like stretching itself and literally stretching and creating new cells in multiple parts of the plant and just focusing on growing straight up as fast as possible.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
Super
segment
cool.
stretching.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, that's so weird. And that's another thing that makes grasses kind of unique is like they aren't growing like other plants. They're not growing from one spot. They kind of grow underground, get everything ready, and then again their cells are expanding and like elongating, and that's why they can grow so fast. It's because they have everything ready to go. They get nice and wet and juiced up, and then they just like explode from the ground. Super weird.
Okay. Interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. If it grows so fast, how is it? I mean, it can't be that hard to, I don't know, save the species if it grows that
cultivate,
fast.
Yeah. And there are a lot of recent research, especially since we started talking to indigenous people again.
Wow. Novel.
Yeah. Really, really crazy.
About freaking time.
Where there's a lot of recent research where we're doing a lot of propagation of Rivercane because its reproduction is really weird because unlike other bamboos, and we don't know why, it was a question that I really tried to answer, they really bloom extremely infrequently.
Oh.
And with other bamboos, they will actually bloom all together, like a population. All of the bamboos in a population will all bloom together, and then the wind is carrying the pollen around, and then everyone gets pollinated all at once. Very efficient. Everyone blooming together means everyone's also setting seeds together. You have lots of seeds, and then even if you don't have the super high germination rate, there's just so many that the herbivores can't eat all of them. Yada, yada, yada. We've talked about some of this stuff before, but lots of seeds. At least some of them are going to survive. But with our Rivercanes, they don't do that. They don't bloom all at once. And they bloom extremely infrequently. And when I say that, I mean like instead of like the 2 to 3 year life cycle that other bamboos go through, our Rivercanes can go decades without blooming.
Oh, God.
Interesting. And it's assumed that that's how they, like, it's assumed that that's that's how they always have been. Like that's how these Rivercane savannas were just like they would just really bloom very just irregularly.
So it's a bit unclear. I would try to find like historical records about how they behaved in the past because they were in a completely different ecosystem in the past. They were in large swaths and not in isolated populations. My guess, and this I don't have anything to back this up, is that because of how they've changed in the landscape, I think that is affecting how they are blooming. And I saw some other papers that, you know, were wondering about this. Like something somehow got kind of off kilter, whether that's, you know, just because they're not all together, they can't communicate together, perhaps. Maybe it's just, you know, just the timeline of, you know, how they interact with the world is thrown off. Something got thrown off and they have not been able to get back in sync with each other since then.
Well, that's kind of what I was wondering, because we've talked about like the dynamics of plant communities on this podcast this season. And it's like, like, okay, if you're a wind pollinated plant and you don't perhaps sense enough, if you don't feel like you're in a large enough community of related plants, then maybe it's not worth it to invest in a bloom every year or something like that. You know, like I'm curious if that, does that play a role? Yeah,
that's definitely what I am leaning towards. I, again, couldn't find any specific studies of like, oh, we found this population that's really big and they do bloom more frequently than these isolated populations.
Yeah.
But, nobody's looking into it, probably. Yeah. There's just so many things to study and try to save.
Yes, yeah.
God. I wonder, well, do we know how other temperate bamboo species that are maybe more related to these guys sense when it's time to bloom? Can we extrapolate any helpful information?
There is a lot of studies trying to figure out what's wrong with Rivercane by looking at other temperate species. But it was a rabbit hole that I tried to stay out of.
Sure, yeah.
But there is a lot of current studies trying to compare the two.
Okay.
But they are also just so different than other bamboos. And whether that's because of where they are now and how we know them now, or maybe they just had always been this way, we don't know. So it's really hard to make assumptions on even like the closely related ones because they're not that closely related. So
what have we learned from indigenous science about it?
I mean, a lot of it is like, hey, you should probably be burning this and like disturbing it.
Yeah.
Because, okay, so that's actually a really good question because wild populations seem to kind of stagnate after about 7 to 10 years, like across species, because they are clonal plants. They can reproduce asexually just by like shooting out a little rhizome and popping up a little baby, 5 feet away or whatever. And that's, especially these species, how they primarily reproduce. But a clonal organism can only do so much. It's helpful to have outcrossing. And these clonal organisms, if they aren't disturbed, again, after about 7 to 10 years, they tend to kind of stagnate and they will die. But we have found that if we do burn them and we do disturb them at like that 7-8 year mark, then they'll keep going for another decade.
Oh, okay.
Undisturbed though, they will die after about 10 years.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And there's been a lot of studies in like lab settings and in cultivated ones where we're finding that at about that 7-8 year mark, they tend to get a lot of funguses and bacterial infections. And we think that is what is killing them in the wild as well.
Oh my God. Yeah, that makes so much sense about why disturbance would be a helpful and necessary thing for a disturbance-loving plant, because it's killing off the body parts that might get infected or parasitized or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they grow healthy new tissue.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It makes so much sense. And it's the crazy part is that we didn't put this together before, and we also didn't consider how the plant existed before colonialism. Like, come on.
Yeah. And it's not just fire. These are much loved by a lot of different browsers. Historically, these hosted a wide range of animals, including wood bison. Cool. Bison, elk, a lot of really big grazers were all over Rivercane. They loved it.
Wait, I have a question that'll help me visualize this. How thick is it? Because I'm picturing like bamboo-sized grass, and I'm like, how's an elk munching this?
Yeah. So they are pretty small in like diameter, like 1 to 3 inches, but they can be very, very dense.
Okay.
So like in Louisiana, it was mentioned that their stems like just a couple inches apart.
Mm-hmm.
So this is stuff that like if you're like trying to like walk through it, you got to put some effort in. Like it's not easily penetrated all the time. Sometimes it does grow like fairly loose, and it is something that can be moved through by a larger herbivore. But a lot of times also they're probably just like browsing on the edge, or they're breaking through it. Like elephants in Africa are important disturbance factors for forests there because they're literally just plowing through it.
Yeah.
Like they just break it down, but that's helpful for the forest.
Yeah.
Right.
See the episode on elephants for more.
Yes.
But yeah, okay, that makes so much sense. Now I'm picturing like an ancient, it's not that ancient, a centuries old ecosystem where bison are trampling it down, and then bamboo shafts are on the ground so animals can eat it and browse off of it and have access to it. I was picturing a bison trying to munch it on the side like a carrot, and then the whole thing toppling down on top of them and spooking the whole herd. That's so the picture makes more sense now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that probably helped. I mean, yeah, you're talking about how it needs disturbance, getting trampled to the ground.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that's Man, we really messed up.
Yeah.
Stupid.
And this like succession, this life cycle of these canebrakes is really fascinating to me. Not only in like the they like disturbance kind of sense, but they have a growth style that was described as punching and branching. So they punch up through the understory with their culms, which is the above ground vegetation. I can't remember if I said that yet, but they punch up with their culms and then they bush out and leaf out once they get to the sunshine above. So they can actually be really effective in eliminating encroaching woody vegetation. So they have a lot of really weird hidden benefits to ecosystems. And have been like historically used to get rid of woody vegetation, like invasive woody vegetation.
Just because they'll shade it out, they'll grow taller. Yeah.
Yeah, they just punch through it and then they shade it out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow. What a cool plant.
It is neat. Yeah.
And bamboos in general, they will, once they do finally bloom, the mother plant tends to die off.
Okay.
Which is a really unique life cycle, and it probably has some weird hidden benefits, but it's generally thought of, if this giant clonal organism blooms and then dies, it's leaving room for, its offspring to then pop up there as well.
Yeah.
But that life cycle is also helping other plants in the area as well, because it's basically like a tree fall, but it's happening naturally, and it's happening on, the span of like a decade or two, rather than like 200-300 years when you're thinking of an old tree dying. So it's, these ecosystems are rapidly changing all of the time and really allowing a lot of change in the floral diversity, but also the animals that are coming in and using those new, flowers and plants as well.
Yeah. Wow. That's so cool. Now I'm picturing, like we always talk in prairie ecosystems about like the burning cycle with the greening up cycle and how that moves herbivores through the landscape.
Yeah.
And I'm picturing now that happening with just dying off of giant clonal organisms all at once.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because not only is it like leaving room for a more hopefully diverse set of offspring as opposed to one giant clonal organism, but that has to be why the soil was so fertile there, because it's just constantly turning over at like a much rapider rate than forests.
But yeah, the carbon that is being stored underground by these canebrakes is, it's incredibly high. It's been found to be higher than forests of similar sizes. The ecosystem benefits are vast with these canebrakes, and a lot of them are still very much unknown as well. So
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're also, when they do exist near river ecosystems, because they don't always, but when they do exist near rivers, they're also helping to clean the water before it goes into rivers. They're helping with stream bank stabilization, all those good things as well, because they do have, a lot of mass underground too. So
Yeah, what is the root system like for a bamboo or a cane? Is it shoot down like real deep like a typical grass?
It's
or?
not super deep.
Yeah.
It's not like, big blue stem where it's like 15 feet tall and also 15 feet deep roots.
Right.
A lot of it is those rhizomes spreading out, and they are really thick rhizomes, spreading out and searching for a new spot to pop up. That's the main part of their roots.
Okay.
But yeah.
Probably helps with the stability if it's like a 30-foot tall plant too.
Yeah.
Just have a lot of
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
No, just bamboo's wild. We're talking about, again, a 30-foot tall plant. How does it not get blown over? One, they're hollow on the inside, makes them pretty light. But it's more than that. The little the nodes, the part where it's like pinched in, actually acts as a little spring, because it's all living tissue. They have to still, you look at an old bamboo and it looks dead because it's brown. But it's still living tissue because they have to be able to move nutrients up and down the body of the plant. Otherwise, it would die. And the nodes act as little springs to give them some sway and bend in the wind, which is crazy.
That's
cool.
Neat.
Yeah.
Good for them. I bet if it's growing in a huge, what was the word you used for a stack of them? A
canebrake.
A canebrake. Okay. A canebrake. Yeah, if you're growing in a huge canebrake, that probably helps too, because then all of your neighbors are also helping to buff it against the wind. And...
Yes, yeah.
Ooh, I wonder what it sounds like when the wind goes through it.
It's good.
Ooh.
Oh, I went
10
10 hours ASMR wind in the Rivercane.
Yes.
Yeah, someone go
Immediately.
record that.
Please.
If you
If
live
we
in
have to-
Kentucky or Appalachia, go record some.
Maybe not the Appalachian ones. They're real tiny.
Well, still.
It might be, we'll get a small microphone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, goodness.
And I think it is interesting that, we call them cane breaks in America, but other bamboos, we call them bamboo forests.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because the North American bamboos are smaller, so they're not particularly foresty, other than the giant Rivercane. But yeah, they are specifically, again, if you hear the word cane break, that is the North American bamboos that you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder also if the other bamboo species are just different in their life cycle. Maybe they do act ecologically more like a forest.
Yeah. They're a little bit more, I don't want to say monoculture-y, but large swaths that are, acting more like a forest rather than an ever-changing ecosystem.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are they dying off constantly? I've never heard that about bamboo before, but I also don't know very much about bamboo. So
Yeah. I don't know. Great question.
Okay, so I had a question, and maybe it's just because I'm trying to visualize the ecosystem. I'm trying to visualize what this would look like as a more widespread ecosystem. Because it's okay, yes. Today, what we have are sort of remnant cane breaks, just sort of dense stands of this in very kind of patchy areas, right?
Yeah.
So, as part of a larger landscape, though, what would that? I'm trying to visualize what would it have looked like, because you have is this sort of bamboo creating its own understory of other plants? How's the other vegetation in the community in the ecosystem fitting in with all this?
Yes, that is a question that I also had, and one that was really hard to answer.
Yeah.
Yes, they do definitely create their own understory, especially when they are very dense. There have been a lot of, even today, examples of fire-dependent species only found near cane breaks because that, naturally there would have been a lot of fires around cane.
Sure.
So yes, they absolutely do have unique plant communities around them. What kind of plants are there? Couldn't really tell you.
Yeah.
Especially historically. I really, really tried, again, went through fossil records to try to find what these really looked like historically, and we just don't have a lot of good data for it.
Okay.
And it's possible that, again, this is indigenous knowledge that exists somewhere and just hasn't been passed on for whatever reason. But yeah, it's really, really hard to know exactly what they looked like when they existed in such large ranges in the past. I do have a couple pictures for you guys if this will be helpful.
Yeah.
This is the switch cane. So not super tall, and you can see it's existing alongside some trees, almost like as an understory plant. Here is the Appalachian species.
Oh, yeah.
So very, very short, less than 3 feet tall, and again, kind of an understory plant. I would imagine that, again, it was described as a savanna ecosystem. So these, 6 to 8 foot tall grasses with very rare trees kind of interspersed between them is what they would have been historically.
That's so cool. Seeing the pictures, oh my gosh.
That's Gigantia. It's just a nerd, little science nerd grinning at the camera with 20-foot tall grasses behind him. And okay, if you search like any of the scientific names and like go and try to look for pictures of this, it's hard to even find pictures of this dang plant. Like it's insane. Like there's like a few really passionate nonprofits and like 2 universities really gung-ho in studying the crap out of these rivercanes, and everyone else doesn't know they exist.
Wow.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, these rivercanes need a PR team.
Aww.
Yeah. Here's a picture of the flowers. It almost looks like it could be big blue stem.
Yeah.
With little flowers coming off of it.
Oh my gosh. It looks exactly like a blue stem or something similar. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's even got like the little like 3 toes.
Yeah.
Like little turkey feet.
Yeah.
What part of the plant is that?
So this is gonna, guys.
Oh no.
The flowering part of a bamboo, like the top of the bamboo, it's called a top knot. That just made me giggle so hard when I learned that. I just love it. But anyway, so this is at the top of the plant.
Okay.
And again, these are extremely rare photos because it never blooms. But I think that these are both Gigantia, which is a little bit better studied and a little bit more common, and in areas where a lot of these really passionate orgs exist. So,
Wait a minute. You said that their flowering interval is like 7 to 10 years, and also that they die in 7 to 10 years if they're not destroyed.
yes. So they die after they bloom, first off. But then, yes, so they have we're assuming a buildup of a lot of nasty things happening. And it could be that stress is promoting flowering. But also, if it depends on the species, it is not uncommon at all for them to go decades between flowering if they survive to be decades old.
Right.
So, yeah.
Is surviving then? Okay. Sorry. I'm just like, if the plant doesn't die, guys, if it's burned down or grazed down, then it can keep going because it is free of disease and also still alive.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This is so interesting.
It's very complicated, and we just have a lot of questions about it. And again, it's quite possible that it flowered way more frequently in the past. And we do know, so like there are records saying that I think it was Gigantia was flowering every like 25 years on average. Wow. But now we think that it's actually longer than that.
Wow.
So it's slowing down its flowering period for reasons unknown.
Yeah, that really feels like it's at odds with what you consider the disturbance, like the regular interval at which a grassland is disturbed, and like the fire, regime of a grassland is typically, ideally, on a way shorter scale than that. So that really does seem at odds with like how you would conventionally think of like, okay, this is how a grassland needs to be cared for or needs to function.
Yes, yeah. And some of the research that I was seeing was ideally you want fire going through these ecosystems like every 4 to 7 years. And if you have a healthy stand of cane, it probably is seeing some kind of disturbance on that scale. Or if we know that historically it was in this area, it was seeing disturbances at least on that scale about every 4 to 7 years.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
Huh.
yeah. And
Does
go ahead.
does that increase the frequency at which it's flowering? Do we know anything about that?
Not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we asked indigenous people.
Not sure.
Okay.
It's like, I mean, it's a really interesting possibly case study just in like how drastically just by altering the dynamics around a plant, you know, and taking it out some of these other factors, like how drastically is that affecting the plant's own life cycle, its own life history? That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also found wondering, like, does the lack of disturbance, which also prevents other species from getting to move in, does that affect it too? Because like we know that there's so many unseen relationships between plants and like, does it prevent beneficial species that it needs around it to improve soil quality or like attract certain bugs? Like we have no idea what's going on there. And I mean, we've just altered it so irrevocably that it's probably hard to even picture what it would have been like without any kind of record of what it used to be like.
Yeah.
And that's so disappointing because, like, at least some of these jerks who were moving in as, like, colonialists settling the land were documenting some things. And maybe they were doing a poor job of it, but at least they tried sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, it took us this long to ask the people who, like, were there and knew everything about the plants.
Yeah.
But also, like, come on. Like, nobody destroying it took a moment to consider if it had any value to us or to the land or to the people that were living there with them. You know, it's so disappointing.
Yes.
Like nobody cared. Like there was no curiosity.
Yeah.
Like where's the curiosity? I think that curiosity is the cure to a lot of our society's ails. Yeah. And I will hold to that.
Well, and it's also probably part of that, like that sort of like age of abundance fallacy of like, you know, settlers coming here and being like, well, this will never run out.
Yeah.
This is bounty coast to coast. It's like as far as the eye can see. This will never run out. And then it does actually really fast if it's if you are like really not conscious of what you're doing. So
and also removing and killing off the people who were cultivating it to be that bountiful.
Yes.
And all the animals also causing natural disturbances. Like
Whoops, was that the last passenger pigeon I just shot?
They'll come back, right?
They'll come back.
Passenger pigeons were known to use canebrake.
Look at that.
Yep.
God, I can't handle this. It's just so sad to think of how much we've lost. But like, I mean, we still have cane.
Yeah.
We still have cane. And I hope that we can still find the information that we need to fix this.
Yeah.
Do people, is this cultivated at all by anybody, like as a resource potentially? Because I mean, it's like bamboo has, like we said, tons of uses.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a very, utilitarian plant. Is that like in Appalachian, or are they trying to bring that back for that purpose? Or
yes, yeah. There are a couple different orgs specifically in Kentucky that are like actively cultivating it, and they're working with the Cherokee people to do that.
Cool.
Cool. And a lot of the stories around using it as like basket weaving and stuff, which is culturally very important. But there's a lot of other things, obviously, that you can talk about bamboo being used for. But a lot of the story, and I think, like just being blunt, I think a lot of that just comes down to like it's a good story to tell people, to get people excited about it and give them money.
Sure.
So like, why not use it that way?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's this resource that was obviously culturally very important to a lot of people. And it's really nice to see that they're starting to create those giant cane brakes once again in order to be cultivated by the Cherokee people and used for basket weaving and so many other things as well.
That is very cool. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And I kind of hinted at this, but these cane brakes are very, very old. So I want to touch on that real quick. The common ancestors of these rivercanes arrived in North America in the early Miocene, 20 million years ago.
Okay.
Wow.
Which is when grasses were first arriving here, period.
Yeah.
They were some of the first grasses in this land. And these 3 species, it's thought, split probably pretty early and gained footholds in those slightly different niches that they exist in today. And when we're thinking on scales this long ago, it's kind of hard to like picture. But modern day prairies, as we know them, are really about like 10,000 years old. So 20 million years versus 10,000 years.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
That is a very old plant. Yeah.
And the like history of North America can be found today in Rivercane, which is really fun. Climatic changes over the years, and specifically like glacial movements, can be found in how we see Rivercane in the landscape today.
That's cool.
These glaciers pushed and pulled these plants across the landscape as they, retreated and then moved back north as much as they could. Specifically, giant rivercane retreating into switch cane. We see like these hybrid zones of these plants where they don't exist, in those spaces today together, but there's these zones that we know are hybrids now where the giant rivercane came south and then retreated again back north, because those hybrids are there. We know that happened, which is crazy.
That's
cool.
Yeah.
The history of the glaciers are written in the rivercane.
It's
so cool.
Into the genetics.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
What a cool plant.
Yeah.
It is really cool. I wonder, like, I don't know, because I know that you can find like in sedimentary layers, you can find like fossilized pollen and stuff. Like, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like this plant is just understudied in general, but like, I wonder what kind of like, I guess, paleo ecological, data you could get, because it's really weird. It's a really weird ecosystem, and it is like ancient.
You said that you tried to look at fossil records to get like some sort of
Oh,
information.
yeah. That's right, you did say that.
It's hard for a lot of different reasons. One, a lot of North America was underwater for a long time.
Sure.
So we lost a lot of fossils. Again, in Kentucky, for whatever reason, there's some really fun fossils that were found there at the. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. It was in Tennessee. I just erased Tennessee. In Tennessee, there's a really cool fossil site called the Gray Fossil Site, where we have found, like, we know for sure Rivercane was there, and they found this really cool animal, and this is what got me excited about Rivercane. They found prehistoric red pandas in Tennessee.
Okay. Prehistoric red pandas.
Yeah.
Like actual?
Yeah.
Or just like
they're
evolved?
Oh. Yeah, they are related to modern day red pandas. There's a lot of discourse as to whether red pandas started in North America or in Asia. I'm not going to take a stance. Different people say different things. It seems like, I don't know. But maybe we need to get better at dating fossils is all I'm going to say. Because some people say this one's older. Some people say this one's older. I don't know. But yeah, it was called the Bristol's panda. It was larger than modern day red pandas. However, looking at dentition and their teeth and some other things, even though they had like those little false opposable thumbs that red pandas and giant pandas have to like grasp bamboo, these guys probably ate a lot of meat and other things. Aww. So they probably weren't reliant on Rivercane, but they did live there. So I still think that's really fun.
Yeah, there you go.
That is really fun.
Wild.
But yeah. There's also a lot of really cool animals like the Bachman's warbler, which was declared extinct in 2023, in large part due to the decline of canebrakes. Again, elk, wood bison, and red wolves also were known to use this habitat very frequently because there's a lot of small mammals that also use this habitat. So lots of food to be found and just really good cover as well.
Yeah.
Red wolves today. Do you guys know anything about red wolves?
I should, because we have them at our Sedgwick County Zoo.
Yeah.
But all I know is that they hybridize with coyotes. I'm going to be honest. That's all I really know.
That's okay.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't really know anything about red wolves either, but I looked it up. Red wolves are functionally extinct in the wild. There is what they called it a non-essential experimental population in North Carolina of about like less than 20 individuals. And otherwise we've never been able to like, one, get permission to re-release them into the wild, or two, find like suitable habitat.
Yeah.
My God. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Insane. But they used to be extremely common in canebrakes.
I'm just having a hard time imagining wolves weaving through bamboo that thick. Like, wouldn't it just be like, cling, 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 like, oh, here comes a wolf. Like, I can see and hear it. Like,
I'm just thinking, like, if watching like a border collie do the agility thing with the poles. It's like,
yes.
Yeah.
And then it's a wolf.
Terrifying.
It's coming to get you.
Oh my God. Scary.
Yeah. But yeah, it's to end it on a more hopeful note. I've talked a couple times about how much canebrakes have receded over the years. It's estimated that less than 2% still remains, which is a number that tallgrass prairie enthusiasts are all too familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some like articles, not scientific articles, but just like written articles, quoting even 1% remaining. But a lot of breakthroughs have happened in the last few years. We've figured out, even though we still don't know how they flower, we have figured out how to transplant them. We know like how big of a rhizome you need and like how many plants you need to make successful transplants. We're having a lot of breakthroughs all the time in how to start propagating these plants. And like the people that are studying them are surprisingly in high spirits from what I could tell. Cool. And like any good grassland, canebrakes are extremely resilient. You give them a little bit of space and a little bit of time, and they're really good at bouncing back. And they thrive on disturbances, so it's okay if we use them, which also makes them, a really good candidate for expanding and, having a really good chance of success. But yeah, they do a lot of really good things for the ecosystem, and support a lot of different plants and animals, and obviously also have a deep cultural history that they represent. So with a little bit of PR, I do think that there's a lot of hope for canebrakes.
Yeah. And in the very beginning of the episode, you mentioned that the fact that they're so isolated genetically is an issue for the species. Yeah. But since we can transplant them, like that removes that obstacle as, that's really encouraging. It makes sense that the scientists are in high spirits because it sounds like, I don't know, and there's been so much time where science did not know much. I bet it feels really nice to be making such huge breakthroughs and to have like dedicated companions like working together to like make this happen from various cultures and people who are excited about it. So
absolutely.
That's good. That's encouraging.
If you want to look up some of the people that are doing work with Rivercane, because there's only a few, but they're very passionate. I really liked the Bluegrass Woodland Restoration Center, the Cherokee Preservation Foundation, Rivercane Restoration Alliance, and the Chattooga Conservancy. They're all doing really, really great work with Rivercane, and are definitely worthy of your support and just kind of checking them out.
Cool.
Awesome.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one in Leavenworth, is it protected in Kansas or federally?
The giant rivercane that was found in Leavenworth County was actually found on Johnson County Community College campus, according to INAT. I don't know if the range maps that I saw were this specific plant or if it was a different one. I couldn't find information about what the heck it's doing in Kansas. But there was one on INAT in Leavenworth County, and it was a very small individual. And there was one picture, and it was kind of blurry, and it was not research grade. So part of me wants to, like, next time I'm anywhere nearby, just like go take a peek, because I mean I have the GPS coordinates.
Yeah,
and
true.
see if it's one still there, and two, if it's gotten bigger, so that we can get better pictures of it and like actually know if it's here or not.
Yeah,
'cause that's crazy. Like this is it's normally like not found in Kansas at all. There's one other sighting by someone called Cane Hunter on INAT. I trust him with my life.
Cane Hunter.
Cane Hunter. And it was just outside of Pittsburgh, Kansas, in southeast Kansas, which makes a little bit more sense with its current range. I trust Cane Hunter. He said it was on a private property, but that it was like a protected area. So pretty exciting.
What a cool name.
Cane Hunter. We should become Cane. Can we could take a trip.
I mean, we could.
We could.
Cane Hunter needs to go to Leavenworth. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing, man?
Hey, Cane Hunter, we got a bounty for you. Go find this plant.
Is Cane Hunter's DMs open? Like
Probably.
on INAT?
Yeah, hit us up, Cane Hunter.
What if Cane Hunter has been to Leavenworth and was like, this was a waste of my time?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Did he comment on that sighting? I guess we're assuming gender, unless he's got it public.
He had a picture.
Oh, okay, cool. You told me that you got excited about this topic because of a TikTok. Was it a TikTok about the red pandas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's like the only spotlight that Rivercane has ever had, was like, we used to have red pandas and they feasted on native bamboos. And it's like, well, you're simplifying it. They definitely were like mostly carnivorous. And like we know this because they had sharp teeth, but
Still
Bad
cool, though.
science communication.
Well,
Bad
yeah.
science.
Yeah.
Well, I say
but
that.
it did get me excited about Rivercane.
Yeah.
So
That's right. Helped you find a way into the topic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think we've accidentally peddled some bad science before too, because
Oh, for sure.
yeah, we're like, wow, what this fact has no citations, but let's go viral with it.
Now hold on. Now. Those facts came from reputable sources.
San Diego Zoo.
They didn't cite their sources,
Yeah.
but they themselves are a reputable source.
This
So
is true.
I don't know what to do about that.
Did I tell you guys that you can't find that anymore?
Oh
took it
no!
I'm not gonna say it was because of us, but like
Well, you know,
Oh, that's so funny.
take it up with yeah.
Is the crayfish one taken down too? Because we
Oh,
know
yeah.
that somebody
that's been archived. Yeah.
they took that down. Oh my god, that's so funny. Because we know that somebody who like worked in the lab with them heard that episode and they were like, "Wow, here's their paper they wrote and everything."
Yeah.
And that's so cool. I was like, "Oh man,
That is hilarious.
there's a lot of
exposing people's bad taste."
Yeah.
There's a lot of really weird old archived Missouri of conservation pages that you can still find.
Mm-hmm.
That has some crazy stuff on them. I found an archived one on Rivercane. I didn't read it because I was like, I can't go back to the Missouri Department of Conservation.
Nicole,
right now.
we have to go back to the Missouri Department of Conservation.
Listen, if you work for whatever agency you work for, you double check your website and just look for anything that sounds crazy. Because if it's out there, it might end up here on our podcast, and then people are going to be like, "What the hell are they talking about?" And then you're gonna feel silly. So just
Yeah,
just
you're
go
gonna get
and
embarrassed.
scrub it now.
Yeah.
Fact check yourselves.
Yeah, because we cite our sources.
Yeah, we
so-
do.
Yes, do yourselves a favor.
We will take you down instead of us.
Yeah, if you're a bad source on this, it's gonna come out. Yep,
Missouri Department of Conservation, I love you. You do a lot of really good work.
they do
Yeah.
really good work. Yes.
But also, you're on our list.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Thanks for listening. The Best Biome is produced through our nonprofit Grassland Groupies, dedicated to inspiring the conservation of grasslands. In the show notes, you'll find all those pictures of big grasses,
Pictures.
big grass, and things like that. Also, our website, our phone number, our social media, all of it. Text, call, tweet. Leave that in.
We're on Blue Sky, so find us there. All that stuff's in our show notes.
Yeah. Text, call, us your fan mail, hate mail, whatever you got. And if you enjoyed this show and want to support us, by the way, please tell your friends about us or leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. We could not do this without your support. We appreciate you so much. And we will see you guys in a month.
Yeah. Also, hey, review us. We have so many listeners, and we don't have that many reviews. What is going on? Come on, people.
Yeah.
We have a lot of listeners.
Yeah.
I'm still surprised that this many people listen to our podcast.
That's right.
From everywhere. So, like, just take a minute and
Yeah.
be like, man, these guys are freaking nerdy or whatever.
Put those dishes down. Stop folding the laundry. Pick up your phone. Leave us a review.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We would really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
We really do like hearing from you guys. Like,
It tickles
it's
us
fun
every time.
Yeah. Send us
Yeah.
an email. I promise we'll respond. And we've done a couple episodes that were
Listener
listener
suggestions.
suggestions. So
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Nice.
we really do love to hear from you guys.
I will do the next thing that gets suggested as a full episode. That's a promise I'm making. So go ahead, throw it out.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Okay.
All right.
Alan's email is Alan with 2 L's and 2 A's at GrasslandGroupies.org.
I don't know if I want my work email. Well, it's public information.
It's on the
Anyway,
website.
never mind. All right. You're right. Hit me up. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.